Just being able to conquer your fears, your pushing past barriers within your mind is just every bit as important as actually like conquering the physical barriers in climbing.
Ogden offers climbing opportunities for people of all skill levels, whether it's bouldering, lead climbing, trad, or ice climbing.
It's a very multifaceted sport. So you've got bouldering, which is essentially climbing smaller boulders or rocks without the use of ropes. Basically just pads underneath you, and bouldering is a really gymnastic, almost more powerful form of climbing. There's different types of rope climbing. You're using various pieces of metal in the rock to keep yourself from falling off. And then within rope climb, there's different disciplines too. You've got ice climbing, which is climbing ice, mountaineering, sport climbing.
Manager of the Front Climbing Gym in Ogden, Shad Burnham, is a professional climber of 8 years. He says the indoor and outdoor sport is becoming more and more popular every day.
Just a year or two back, there were some kind of national surveys, and climbing's already trending higher than like spin classes, which probably seems kind of silly, but that's a pretty big deal as far as like a gym activity to do.
Burnham and his buddies took me out for my first time climbing along the schoolroom wall in East Ogden, starting with a morning hike and then to these huge cliffs along the Wasatch Front.
It's kind of fun to get out in the mountains and sort of supersede yourself.
Burnham says Ogden's mountains and cliffs are littered with routes for those just beginning and for the advanced.
Whether it's a kid for their first time on a wall, or an adult that's never touched a rock before trying to get up, defeating their fear of getting 5 feet off the ground is every bit as real as a more experienced climber being 2,000 feet off the ground trying a really hard move. And so climbing is very individual.
Those interested in boulder climbing where gear is not used can find 5 to 20 foot tall boulders along the 22nd to 27th Street schoolroom wall.
Angle of rock doesn't always necessarily indicate the difficulty. The size of the hole will play into that, the type of rock, the conditions. If you're at 19,000 feet climbing relatively easy rock, but it's -20 and you're in a blizzard, a little bit different story.
Burnham says if you're a beginner, it's important to seek out the proper instruction before you go out climbing.
And then when you're ready to climb, you're going to say climbing, and I'll say climb on.
Okay. Those who are not so daring can opt for indoors at a climbing gym wall, like the Front Climbing Club in Ogden. I found I had a little bit more success there and felt a little safer.
Yay, I did it!
Climbing wall gyms offer training with professionals who can teach people how to do the risky sport the right way and get practice before they go up to the mountain.
If you were to go skydiving, how would you do it? You would find a very experienced instructor. You would do everything, totally legitimate, and that makes sense to people. But when you think about it, the consequences in climbing or skydiving or anything along those lines are the same. When you hit the ground, it's over.
It's always a good workout, but Burnham reminds people that climbing is also a fun challenge.
You just need to slowly get into it, and we want to help people build up those skills to be able to go do anything. We're inside, it's a gym, but the concepts are all the same, and so if you can really build up that base underneath you, safety of these skills, then everything else starts coming pretty quickly. All of our routes and holds get changed out every 6 weeks or less. We actually have a team of professional, paid route setters that are constantly rotating and changing holds out. So it keeps it really fresh. From a training standpoint, if you can climb on new stuff more frequently, you're going to get stronger faster.